Hello and welcome to today's Spotlight with our special speaker, Kavita Sanghi. She will be talking to us about the benefits of STEM competencies having schools. Before we start, I'd like to thank everyone for being here today. We are so happy that you took the time to make it to this T4 Spotlight. We'd love if you could introduce yourself in the chat and tell us who you are, what you teach, and where you're from. I am Caro from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and I am a history teacher. As always, I'd like to remind you that we are recording this session. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking and feel free to use the reaction buttons and comment or ask questions in the chat as much as you'd like. We love to see participants actively engaged. Our spotlights are packed with a warm welcome, content delivery of 35 to 40 minutes, and an interactive Q&A session. Today, we are honored to have Kavita. She is principal at this, I don't know how to pronounce the school name.
SVKM CNM School.
Oh, thank you, Kavita. Well, Kavita is a highly accomplished educator with a diverse background, holding multiple master's degrees, including physics, education, and philosophy of education, along with a diploma in educational leadership from Harvard University. She has made significant contributions to STEM education through innovative curricula, teacher training, and blog writing, all to promote the UN Sustainable Development Goals and create a brighter future for children. Now, let's give a warm welcome to her as she takes us on this immersive journey into the importance of having STEM competencies in schools. Over to you, Kavita.
Thank you so much, Carolina. Thank you so much, Gobi, everybody, and all of you out here. I'm going to share my screen with you. So we're going to be talking about Step Up Your STEM Competency. And I'm sure all of you know what STEM is. So I'm going to ask the next question right now. I'm in Mumbai, and I think Carolina's been asking everybody where you're from. So if you're from Nigeria, you are from Argentina, I'm from Mumbai, how are we communicating at present? Please share responses in the chat box. Which medium are we using to communicate? Technology, thank you. What kind of technology? Okay, Zoom, great. So using a Zoom platform, using technology. Now, exactly do you understand how are we using Zoom? What is it that is operating in Zoom such that sitting in Mumbai, I'm able to connect with you all? T for Communities app, yes. And what is this app utilizing? Anybody else? What else is this app utilizing so that I am reaching you with my audio and my video? A software, yes, Carolina. Internet connection, excellent. Anybody else out here? I'm going to share the slide across to you right now. From this, which of this are you using at present to connect with me? Okay, Wi-Fi, LAN, okay, excellent. Excellent. Now, if you're using Wi-Fi, you're using LAN, whatever you're using right now, what is it that's actually allowing us to communicate? Any kind of idea that you have? You said technology, but actually we're using WebRTC. That is an open source project. It enables real-time voice, text, and video communication capabilities. And we're using the language Java right now, JavaScript, between the two of us for me to communicate with you. So we are using the platform, Zoom, Microsoft, Slack, Google Meet. The platforms are these, but the actual communication is happening to WebRTC. And this is how exactly it is working around. Peer-to-peer communication through either a server, and there's a signaling happening through all these kind of things, And the media that is passing across is either an audio, video, or a data. Now, if you look at this kind of communication that we have had right now, what is this actual STEM allowing us? You spoke about technology. How is technology, mathematics, knowledge, science, and engineering connected? Look at this entire image and tell me, how are they connecting with each other?
Sorry, the question is for us to answer.
Yes,
how
for you all to answer.
technology.
We just use technology. So how is this technology, mathematics, knowledge, science, engineering connecting with each other? What can you see here? Anybody? Okay, they feed into each other. Thank you, Carolina. They are feeding into each other. Now let's see how it's actually happening. The technology, what we have right now, is asking us questions, which I'm asking you questions. So I'm asking all of the people who have got some kind of scientific background, some questions, which is enabling you to enabling you to think deeper. This deeper thoughts is building more knowledge. This knowledge is engineering you to make the technology more robust. And in the process, you're using mathematics and science concepts. The mathematics could be the kind of digital, the analog to the digital language. The science is obviously, as I spoke to you, the Wi-Fi, the JavaScript, the connections. All this entire thing is how technology actually is the core element driving more and more knowledge through math, science, and engineering. And that's the relationship right now we have. The technology can be a digital technology, or it also can be a physical technology. So this is the connection between entire STEM competencies. And this is a definition of STEM education. I won't read the definition, but if there's anything that stands out for you in this definition, please share your thoughts. Any key words that you can find in this definition which connects with you? Real world lesson. Yes, that's real world lessons, connections, development of STEM literacy, and competing in a new economy. Now look at this entire thing. Now STEM is everywhere. We talk about STEM in and out. Now let's recognize STEM elements in everyday life. Now I've got a fantastic, lovely white shirt. And then what happens? I go to a party and I get a lot of stains on my white shirt. And I'm really so disappointed because this white shirt means a lot to me. Now, I want you to help me here. I want you to help me remove the stains from my white shirt. How can I do the needful? So for that, I'm going to share a link with you right now. And you're going to tell me exactly how I can remove this entire, all the stains. So you just want to give me a second, please. I'm going to share. Okay, so it's a Padlet. Now this is my white shirt. If you open the Padlet, you will see that it's got stains of adhesive, beverage, blood, colorings, grease, rust, ink. How am I going to remove these stains? Can you please help me out and share responses in the Padlet? Are you all able to follow the link?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thanks. How do you think I could remove the adhesive, the beverage, the blood? Okay, Carolina, very good. I used vinegar. Vinegar for what? Bleach. Wonderful. Bleach for what? Anybody else? If you had rust, if you had ink, you know how students are, they always put some ink on each other or something, that sort. Anything. I will add bleaching agent and then I will soak this. Oh, wonderful. Excellent. A brush. Just a brush would work. Or a brush along with your bleaching agent and all that. Okay, anything else? If it's a colored cloth, will you still add a bleaching agent? Come on, I'm looking forward to hear your responses. Vinegar for the whites, wonderful. Sodium carbonate and vinegar, oh, awesome, very nice. Very nice. Is there any other feedback that you wish to give? I'm telling you, you do this every day. Colored shirt, I will use soap. Okay, what kind of soap are you going to use? The soap we use for the face, Milagrillo. Okay, I don't know what Milagrillo is. I'll just check it out. Wonderful. Is there anything else? Washing powder? Yes, you're very much close to it. Yes. I'm so happy with the responses. Anything else?
Hey. La. Yeah.
Normal washing soap, then I'll use my hands and war with the stains. That's exactly what we do. Don't we do that? Very good. Excellent. Thank you so much, everybody. So I'm going to now share exactly what I have researched and just arrived at it. So for the adhesives, you can rub ice or cold water to harden the adhesive. For example, the chewing gum that you've used, and you can scrape it with a dull knife. You can even sprinkle with pre-washed stain remover and rinse and laundry. For this, somebody had already told me, I think, a bleach for beverages. For blood, you can have table salt. For colorings, your washing powder was perfect. Your grease can be cornstarch. Your rust could be cotton ball with vinegar. Somebody already used the word vinegar. And for ink, spraying hairspray and applying vinegar. So already you were much into it. Now look into this. With daily life, you're using STEM, but you're not connecting it across. If you were able to connect that this is exactly the concept we teach in class of bleach, of vinegar, of any kind of hardening the adhesive surface, then automatically the science part becomes interesting to the students, the mathematics part becomes interesting to the students, and the technology becomes known to them. So all we need to do is just connect this real everyday life with the entire knowledge that we have to build STEM competencies. Now, as for the New York Academy of Science, the STEM framework is divided into three important parts. The first part is you need to build the core competencies. The second part is what is your instructional design to bring in? What kind of pedagogy do you have to make sure that those learning objectives, supports, and assessments are in sync with your entire core STEM program? For implementation, what kind of services and supports are you planning to give in the school to facilitate distribution and ensure effective implementation? So three important parameters. And there are actually 26 parameters in the STEM framework, divided into these three important core programs as pillars. The first one, when it comes to core competency, they want you to develop these particular core competency: critical thinking, problem solving. The problem solving you just did right now, how do we make the stains go away? Digital literacy and data literacy. Now, these two are different. How is digital literacy and data literacy different from each other? Anybody who can share how is digital literacy and data literacy different from each other? Come on, you all are using digital tools. So if the technology that you're using, a well-known in-depth knowledge of the technology that you're using, data literacy is for you to understand. I think, oh, Khalid, thank you. Awesome, Khalid. Thank you so much for your feedback. I use for communication technology, mobile device, phones, laptops, e-readers, tablets, flash memory. Excellent. And big data for all learning devices. So you're gathering data from your digital literacy, obviously. And when you're studying this data, how are you analyzing it? How are you evaluating it? What kind of decision making are you creating based on this data literacy? That's important. Stats and charts. Yes, you have your stats and charts and digital. Excellent. Thank you, Carolina. You're very much on track. Then communication, collaboration, and creativity. These are the important things that the core competency we need to build in our students to make sure that the STEM competency goes high. And how do we do it? For that, the main thing is your instructional design. What is the kind of pedagogy that you have inside your classroom? What kind of teaching are you doing inside your classroom? If there's a curriculum, for example, you're doing a topic of, say, reflection. Within the reflection, how are you integrating entire STEM? For example, you're doing science, but how are you integrating technology in reflection, engineering in reflection, mathematics in reflection, the topic reflection? What is a real world application of reflection? What kind of project-based learning are you giving the students to carry off and do at home? What kind of scaffolding techniques are you giving to support the child to come up to the level of what you are expecting to reach the learning outcomes? And finally, assessment drives learning. Till we do not assess the students, we do not know where we have reached. So these parameters is very, very important in an instructional design to make sure that the students are learning right. And to implement all of this, it has to be aligned to local context. Sitting in Mumbai, if I'm talking about weather and I'm talking about -1 degree and it's going to be snow or something, doesn't make sense to my students out here, because right now at present, we still have 33 degrees Celsius. So if I talk about temperature, I talk about global warming, I have to make sure it is contextualized to my area. For it to be driven across everywhere, I need to know my teachers are trained, supported. So professional development is important. Whatever they are taking across, what is the evidence of effectiveness, the collaboration, the access to material? And if this year they have done up to, say, 10% of integration within the curriculum, what is the scalability? So these 26 parameters in the three pillars is very, very important to drive STEM education at school. Now, looking at this, I'm going to take you to an experiment, and I want you to let's work it out. Either we can think, pair, and share, because out here, I really want to make sure that you share what you have to, what you're thinking about. So let's start. I have right now
Kavita, you're on mute.
Okay, so I have 2 jars of jam. Looking at these jars of jam, what do you see? What do you see? What do you observe? What are you observing? These 2 jars of jam. Okay, one is clean, the other is contaminated, right? Anything else? Okay, one looks fresh, the other looks spoiled, right? Right, you're very much right. Okay, now if I were to tell you that both these jams were stored the same way, the size of the jars is similar, they were opened at the same time, and one looks spoiled and one looks fine. What could be the probable reasons that one has got spoiled and one is still fresh? Temperature, okay. Anything else? If I were to tell you the temperature also was the same temperature they were maintained. Okay. Anything else? Any kind of thoughts, hypothesis that comes to your mind? The place they were kept, they kept at the same place. Okay. One more thing that you have. Yes. Ingredients. Okay, Carolina. Excellent. Anything else? Exposure to summer light. Okay. Now I'm going to show you next one, next slide. Now this is a slide showing the unspoiled fruit preparation, and then other one is a spoiled fruit preparation. What is something that you can see here? Okay, maybe the bottles weren't clean enough. Process. What does this slide tell you? There were 2 fruit jars, one unspoiled, one spoiled. What is the difference between the 2 slides? Bacteria, okay. So you're close to it. Just go into that. You're close to it. Gel, okay. Gel forming most of the fruit preparation. And the other one, the spoiled one, what is maximum that you can see there? Fungus, okay. So fungus, numerous yeast cell in the gel of the spoiled preparation. Okay, thank you, Anita, thank you. So now you notice that the spoiled one has numerous yeast cells. So what is contributing to it? I'm now going to share another slide for you to analyze and give me the response. One image is of the spoiled, one image is of the unspoiled. Which of this do you think is a spoiled or unspoiled? Fig puree or extra fig jam? I think Caroline already spoken about ingredients before. So extra fig jam is what, Anita? Is it spoiled or unspoiled? The spoiled one is on the right. To my right, it is fig jam. Fig puree is unspoiled. Okay. You're coming good. I'm really happy with the responses. Anybody else has something to say? So sugar content is very high. It is spoiled, Anita. Okay. So therefore, you feel that the jam is the spoiled one and the puree is the unspoiled one. Is everybody agreeing with Anita? think 100% is a good one. And okay. This one is 64%. Great, Joan. Extremely happy with the responses. Now, you have studied the number of yeast cells, you've studied the ingredients in this. You've come up with a lot of hypotheses across here. You want to test it now. Was it the puree which is actually spoiled, or the jam which is the spoiled one? So you have now formulated an inquiry question using the variable previously identified. The variables this time was the ingredients. And the question was, which one is the spoiled one? The puree or the jam one? So we're going to talk about what is actually impacting my jam, my entire container, which is making it spoiled or unspoiled. So my questions were, does room temperature affect the preservation of jam? I said no. Does adding corn syrup increase the preservation of jam? I do not know. So if I do not know, what should I do next? What should I do next? I have a hypothesis, but how do I know whether I'm right or wrong? What should I do? Is test. Excellent. I need to test it. I need to do an experiment. So therefore, this hypothesis needs to be tested through exploration and experimentation. Whether level of sugar is increasing my mold or is it decreasing my mold? So do you have any kind of experimental design that you could share out here? Investigate, right. Do you have any kind of experimental design? About this topic? No, about the jam only, yes. About the jam and the jam puree and the jam bottle. Which one is the one which is not spoiled? And I want to test it. So is there any method that we can test it? Is there any method where at home also you use a puree, you use a jam? Which one gets spoiled faster? The puree, right, Anita? Different jars and try. You can try different jars and try the ingredients. Yes, you can have that. You can test actually with sugar, yeast, and water and see a different levels every day. Maybe in one test tube, you can add 100 gram of sugar. The other you add 200 gram. The other you add 300 gram. One test tube add no sugar and then see what happens over a period of days. If you study the period of days, you will understand which one increases, gives you more gas out, which one doesn't. Now, it is actually the one with sugar. The one with sugar is the one which is unspoiled because sugar acts as a preservative. That is why your jams are lasting for a long period of time, but the sugar level cannot be below 55%. Now, this is your everyday thing that you eat. You eat your jams, but still we have not connected with our students to a science experiments, a STEM, to make sure that, investigate what happens when your things get spoiled. Why is it getting spoiled? So if such simple experiments could be added to your curriculum design, then that's all that's required to build your STEM competency. So this scientific process is the most important thing. You have a question, you have a problem. You frame a hypothesis. What is it affecting it? You conduct an experiment to explore this. Once you arrive at conclusions based on these evidences, that's where the entire STEM process runs across, and that's how it functions. So I'm going to put in a question right now, and this is something that you need to tell me, how would you go about it? I have the statement with me. Mount Everest is 29,000 feet high, and Mount Kailash is 22,000 feet. After the summit of Edmund Hillary and Tenzin Sherpa in 1953, about 4,000 people have won Everest to date. But to date, not a single person could touch the summit of Mount Kailash. Is that true? Is that true? And this statement is actually if you go onto Google, you will actually read the statement. And what we want here are students to understand what is fact, what is fiction. Is this true? And if it is true, then what is the evidence? And if it is a false statement, then what is the evidence? Your STEM competency is nothing but to make sure that our students can differentiate between fact and opinion. And this is your homework as we leave this class. How true is this statement? So thank you so much for this entire wonderful session. And I would love you to share your responses. And if you have anything to speak about this statement, because I would love to get your responses on this statement. Sorry.
Kavita, I think Sonia had her hand up. Sonia, do you want to ask Kavita something?
Yeah, hi. Hi, Kavita, and hello to my colleagues. So I was about to say in the previous one, when we talked about the jam and the puree, that maybe the making process was also different, how you made the things. And I was about to say that, the preservatives. Yeah, so that is when I had raised my hand.
Oh, sorry. I couldn't see the raising of the hand. Sorry about that. But yes, I was reading the chat box and I did say that process and all that. And you did arrive at the right response.
Yeah, but thank you, Kavita. And we could actually relate it to the real world scenario, as you very rightly said. So great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I would like you to now give a response to this. How is it that you're going to test for this statement? Because this statement is something which you will find on Google. And this, can we just accept this?
No, it is not. No one has scaled it as yet. That's what they say. Except for, I think, few years back, there was a Buddhist monk who scaled it, but that nobody knows whether it is true or false. But till date, no one has done that. Maybe something it has to do with the religion part of it, and also because of the location, where it is located, the harsh location, or the geological factors are the reason maybe why it has not been scaled as yet.
Exactly. So now when we talk about this stuff to our students, when we bring in the STEM elements, I think somewhere we also need to use technology to ask them to even call up the respective people in charge of the Mount Kailash, how we have Mount Everest, to find out, to do data collection.
True.
So data collection also is very important. Talking to the right people out there is very important. Just accepting the statement on Google or any kind of internet platform could be risky. So,
yeah.
Because OECD says that the most important concern that they have right now is only 9% of people are able to differentiate between fact and fiction. So this is what basically STEM is. To bring in STEM learning is to make sure that you're talking about building your decisions based on evidences. You're talking about critical thinking. You're talking about problem solving. You're talking about creativity. So if this all has to be added to your daily life, that's most important. So I'm going to leave this as a homework. And now I want to open it up to questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kavita, so much. And this has been, well, I didn't know. I'm not much of a science person, so this was totally new to me. So thank you. I would love to ask you if there's a school or a teacher who really wants to implement the STEM competency in their school. What advice would you give them? Like, they're just starting to get into this new STEM system into their classroom. What would you say to them?
So I would first of all say that, don't get too overburdened that every single topic has to have a STEM angle. Just that if you take any topic, do you think you can connect it to real life? Any real life scenario? For example, if you're talking about, say, plastic, and you have a mobile phone, do you see plastic in your mobile phone? Do you see plastic in your toothbrush? Do you see plastic in your soap element? So if you can connect it to real life, that's enough for all of us to make sure that this concept taught in class has a connection in real life. That's all I'm looking at.
Well, that's a good one because I'm a history teacher, so STEM has always been like for the other teachers, like the science, physics, biology. It isn't much about the social kind of sciences. So, is it possible to have like this STEM approach to social sciences?
Yeah, so now I'm going to take your lesson. In history, if you talk about Colosseum, okay, the Colosseum was 2000 years back. In Colosseum, there used to be about, when they had those matches, there were about 50,000 people, more than 50,000 people. They did not have mics, but still they were able to hear each other. The person could speak and people were hearing. What kind of technology was the person using such that 50,000 people could hear it? Now, technology, also another aspect. Your Colosseum still stands today. What elements were used to make the Colosseum? And how is it different from what it is used today? Because today, if the buildings are made, within 100 years, we are recreating the building. But Colosseum, after 2000 years, it has got impacted, but it is still existing. So what is kind of materials were made? What kind of design was created? What kind of pillars? What kind of support? All this can be your STEM. So actually, history gives you a lot to think about. When you talk about Leaning Tower of Pisa, how is it is leaning? What is the scientific angle to it? Okay. If you talk about Taj Mahal, you can see all that at complete right angles, all the four pillars. What is the geography? What is the angle mathematics element in that? Okay. So not only just a story, but the mathematics element also out here you can bring in. So these are the elements social studies can use it very, very well.
Yes, thank you, Kavita. You're right, and I have used that in the past. So yeah, it makes sense. Daniel, what do you want to ask?
Yeah, so thank you so much, Kavita, for sharing with us. I think that was pretty insightful. So there was a point you made about how to implement STEM, and you talked about aligning STEM to local context. So I know that when the conversation around STEM is mentioned, a lot of teachers, especially teachers that are in extremely low resource setting, they just think that it's all about technology. So it's some very distant conversation that they always try to disconnect themselves from. So just speaking to that point where you talked about aligning STEM to local context. What would be your counsel to teachers in extremely low resource setting where they just feel like that conversation is not just for them because it's everything technology?
Yeah. So when I said when I spoke of technology, it is digital. It is also physical technology. Let me tell you, when we were young, we used to make those aeroplanes, right? And we used to fly those planes. That plane is nothing but STEM. You use the science principles to make sure that your aeroplane flew a longer distance. You use mathematics dimensions. Your technology was a physical technology. Your engineering is what kind of designs. For example, different shape of planes used to make. So you do not need resources. In fact, the best place to learn STEM is a kitchen. So I feel anybody's kitchen is the best place to learn. So you do not need any robotics. You do not need any kind of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is anyway Siri and Alexa. They're enough for you. So any teacher, I'm telling you, the minute you wake up in the morning and you hold a toothbrush, that toothbrush itself is STEM. Why is it that their bristles are plastic? Why is it that their design of the brush is such that it has to reach your inner way, inner tooth? So all that, if you start connecting to day-to-day life, that your students are good enough to go and reach till whichever has got the maximum best resources in the world. Because STEM is nothing but problem solving, critical thinking. That's all. So resources are just in your house. in your kitchen.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I think I should visit the kitchen after this call.
Oh, Daniel, you're,
He
you're
is going
so
to visit.
funny.
Daniel is going to
In
visit.
India, we say the men visit the kitchen. That means we feel very, very good.
No, but Daniel is going to visit because he wanted to taste the jam, isn't it, Daniel?
Exactly.
Okay, so does anybody have any more questions for Kavita? Ale?
Kavita, I want to ask you, which school do you work for in India? Where?
SPKM CNM School in Mumbai.
And would be really nice if you could put up a few more examples, because these were really, really good, right from the toothbrush, going to the, paper planes. So would be fantastic, because that would give us more ideas to bring to the classes.
So I have designed a course for STEM education, building a STEM competencies, and that course has everything. The course material is free of charge. So I can share the link if you want, and you can access it.
Please do that. That'll be really, really good.
So just give me a second.
I will share,
Yeah.
and also participants, I will share everything on the summary after the session is over. I will write and share all the materials with you. Ale, I didn't understand. Did you have a question for Kavita? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Is she able to hear that? Because Alejandro,
Ale, we can't hear you.
Now, can you listen to me?
yes.
Yeah.
I was saying that, so sorry because I was disconnected. Now I am in my neighborhood house to connect again because it doesn't work very, very well today. Happy to see you, Kavita. I would like you to know, to give us some advice to leadership, to leaders who wants to teachers implement in their lesson plan the STEM, because I am really convinced that it's really fantastic. I was reading a lot about it. I work in a German school, and we say mint is the same but different letters. No, these are different name. Mint STEM is the same. What can I do to spread to teachers the needs to include in the plans the STEM project?
So I spoke about the 26 parameters right now. So you first of all need to understand which class you need to begin with, because I do not want to make it something like across the whole school. Don't be so ambitious. Start with, say, maybe just 2 or 3 classes. What is it that you want to build in? With that, you need to make sure that you have the resources, you're giving the training to the teachers, and your vision is clearly shared with the teachers. So what you are thinking and what your teachers are thinking have to be on the same plane. Resources I spoke about, and also what kind of activities are you planning to do to bring in STEM learning to your class? Within the curriculum, within the classroom, or are you going to give a separate period? For example, in my school, I have created a separate subject based on STEM education, giving it to 1st to 7th standard. So you need to understand how are you giving it a separate subject, or you're integrating it within your different subjects.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much. Very clear.
Well, oh yeah, Khaled, go ahead.
So thank you, Kevin, for your presentation. It's very important. I'm so happy for that. Actually, I'm teaching actually in music in my school. I use active board, and actually, I mean, when I teach music, of course, I use STEM for sharing my lesson for students. More than 30 students in the same time in the class, not in music room, but in normal class. I use the active board, and every student has a tablet or mobile. They already connect with the active board, and they open, for example, keyboard, piano, or something like this digital in the platform, and they working with me together at the same time. That mean it's technology. It's really supportive for education. There is no end for this. We have to start right now. There is no end for learning about technology, because now, as a member in Global Digital Library and member in Mobile Learning Week in UNESCO, we talk now about how we change the education through AI. It's really, yeah. Thank you for your sharing. That's it's very important. Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Khalid. And music is so beautiful. I'm a physics teacher, so I teach sound through music only. So yeah.
Well, if no one else has any more questions for Kavita, we can wrap this up. We can all say thank you to Kavita for taking her time to do this for us. And don't worry, I will share everything with you guys, so don't worry about that. Thank you again, Kavita, for doing this, hosting this wonderful session at T4 Communities. We have 2 events coming up on December, then we will take a short break for the holidays, and we will start back again in January. So stay tuned, and I will see you online. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Kavita.
you,
Thank you
Kavita.
once again. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
thank you, thank you.